Good morning, grade 8. Lovely to be here this morning. I'm joined with Mr. I'm joined with Mr. Omar.
Hi there. Hi everyone.
And today we will be continuing with Barbara Kingsolver and her scientific essay called out.
And of course, it's page number page 53. We'll be discussing page 53 today, inshallah. Yeah. So what are the objectives of this lesson?
So today's objectives, we're going to be citing text evidence. So we will be understanding her tone, and we remember that she was using dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very much not a scientific essay in normal senses. So we will be just evaluating her style of writing. We're going to determine the central idea. We're going to analyze how an idea is introduced and elaborated. We will determine the author's point of view and verify preliminary determination of meaning. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be evaluating a short excerpt from lines 58 to 70, discussing the terms, and we've got also some questions at the end of this presentation that you will have to answer.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Tomorrow
be
we'll be discussing them together, of course. Yeah. All right. So here's the part we'll be discussing today. Listen to the audio, and then Mr. Anthony is going to ask you guys a few questions.
For a species, the bloom is just the means to an end. The flower show is really about making seeds, and the object of the game is persistence through hell or high water, both of which are features of the Sonoran Desert. In winter, when snow is falling on much of North America, we get slow, drizzly rains that can last for days and soak the whole region to its core. The Navajo call these female rains, as opposed to the male rains of late summer, those rowdy thunderstorms that briefly disrupt the hot afternoons, drenching one small plot of ground, while the next hill over remains parched. It's the female rains that affect spring flowering, and in some years, such as 1998, the benefaction trails steadily from winter on into spring. In others, after a lick and a promise, the weather dries up for good.
Okay, great. So hopefully on the video you'll be able to stop and pause or rewind if you need to, because the way she was speaking was quite fast. What we're going to do is sort of break down what she had just said and some of the types of styles she was using. So let's have a look at lines 58 to start off with. For a species, the bloom is just the means to an end. The bloom is just a means to an end. What do you think that sentence might mean, Mr. Omar? A bloom is just a means to an end.
So the blooming, actually she means that the blooming, I think that's what I think, of course. She means that the blooming is not the end of the process, because the flowering part of the plant cycle is not the end, because it's just a means to an end. So the end is to produce seeds again.
Yes.
You see, that's what I think she means here.
Yeah, I think so, because blooming is something that is just one event that happens. Yeah. Then there's obviously seeds that get.
So what's the point of a flower? So after a flower, what comes after the flowering part in the plant cycle?
The flowering, and then there's the germination.
And then producing seeds.
Producing seeds, yes.
Yeah. All right. So
look, it explains in the next sentence. The flower show is really about making seeds.
Yeah, so that's what she means here. So the second sentence comes with explanation to this phrase here. The flower show is really about what? It's all about making seeds. Yeah, all right. So,
and the object of the game is persistence through hell or high water.
Yeah. So I wonder what the word persistence means, Anthony.
Persistence. So persistence means to continue to do something despite challenges.
Yeah. So do you remember our non-biologist friend when he asked if these flowers weren't here last year, how come they are here this year? So the seeds might have been there, hiding there and waiting for the proper opportunity or the proper chance to grow again. So it's all about persistence. It's all about, let's say, a survival game. Yeah,
Yeah.
these seeds are very smart. Yeah,
Very smart seeds.
yeah. Through
Through hell or high water. So hell or high water is basically an idiom that means when you're determined to do something, to do something despite the difficulty. So these seeds are determined to do something despite going through hell or high water. So they're having to overcome lots of challenges. They're persistent and they have to go through challenges to germinate and to become flowers. And I think that's what she's explaining here. Hell or high water. They're going through a lot of challenges. They're persistent. So that's what the seeds are actually having. To become a flower in a desert would be very difficult, wouldn't it? Because there's very little rain.
That's why I would call these seeds very smart, because they wait there for the proper chance for them and the proper conditions for them to grow again. All right. So it's like the desert is like a seed bank, okay, where these seeds have always been there, waiting for the proper time to grow again. Okay.
Both of which are features of the Sonoran Desert. In winter, when snow is falling on much of North America, we get slow, drizzly rains that can last for days and soak the whole region to its core. So if we break that down, the north is getting snow, the north of America is getting snow, and in the desert in Arizona, it looks like they're only getting, the Sonoran Desert, they're only receiving small drizzly. Do you understand drizzly?
Yeah.
The term drizzly. It's like,
Showers.
it's like, on and off showers, like very, not persistent, that's for sure. That's just very,
not continuous.
not continuous.
Yeah, it doesn't last for a long time, or it's not continuous. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these rains can last for only for a few days, right?
Yeah,
and
for the
so
whole year,
the whole region to its core. Yeah. All right. So, and she spoke about the Navajo. Any idea what the Navajo is?
Yeah, I pronounce it Navajo.
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 Oh, really? Yeah.
Navajo I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty positive that it's an Indian tribe.
Yeah, that's right.
And they obviously are the traditional landowners and have been living in these lands before white men and women have colonized. And they call these female rains.
Why do you think they call these kind of rains female rains?
Because maybe they're a little bit...
They are much enough for the plants to grow?
No.
Maybe?
Much. Do you think they are more...
Yeah. They are enough rain.
Oh, okay, yes.
For
No,
the
yes,
plant
I
to
understand.
grow, to start the growing process. Yeah? Okay.
Yes. No, I understand now. Yes, female rains to help them grow, yes.
Yeah, right. So as opposed to the male rain, and I would say that these male rains are only showers, all right, and these showers dry up very quickly, and the plants do not get a chance to consume them so that they can grow again. So these rains of the late summer are not good enough for the plants to grow, right? Yeah,
Yes.
to use for their growth. Yeah. So those rowdy rain, which rain are we talking about here? Rowdy.
Male rains.
Yeah, very good. The male rains. Very good. Okay.
Thunderstorms that briefly disrupt the hot afternoons.
Yeah. During the summer, of course.
Yes.
We're talking about, remember, we're talking about the male rains of the late summer, yeah?
And drenching, which means wetting.
Yeah.
one small plot of ground.
Yeah, only small plots because they are patchy rains, not like a rain that fall on the whole region,
Region, yes.
right? Yeah.
While the next hill over remains parched. Parched meaning dry.
Yeah.
It's funny because usually we use parched for thirsty. When you're
Yeah.
thirsty, you might say, I'm parched, I'm feeling
Yeah.
parched.
Yeah.
And she's using that term
I
to
told you she's using casual language.
Casual
You see,
dialogue.
so that her writing or her article is more accessible to a larger audience. All right? Yeah.
It's the female rains that affect spring flowering. And in some years, such as 1998, the benefaction trails steadily from winter on into spring.
Yeah. Benefaction.
Benefaction.
Yeah.
Gift,
Benefaction.
Benefaction. Yeah.
Benefaction.
a gift or assistance. So this assistance or gift or donation trails steadily from winter on into spring. So I'm guessing if it trailed steadily, meaning that there was a lot of rain.
Yeah,
Trails-
remember we're talking about 1998 phenomenon. Yeah,
So the rains continued steadily from winter on into spring.
really? So it lasted for a long time then. So,
Yes.
yeah, it must have covered the whole desert. Yeah.
In others, after a lick and a promise, the weather dries up for good.
Yeah, the weather dries up for good after this
phenomenon.
During the 1990s. Okay then. So what do we have next?
So next we have some questions to ask you guys. Question 1, we have Kingsolver uses figurative language, language not meant to be taken literally, to describe intimate or inanimate objects as having inanimate objects as having human characteristics. Find examples of this kind of figurative language personification in the above paragraph.
So we're talking about worksheet 9.1, which we will put up on the school's website after the class, or together with this video for this class. Okay then. So, sorry, Anthony, what was the first question again?
Kingsolver uses figurative language, language not meant to be taken literally, to describe inanimate objects as having human characteristics. Find examples of this kind of figurative language personification in the above paragraph.
Yeah, what do you mean by figurative language, Anthony?
Figurative language meaning she's using language that wouldn't usually be described. She wouldn't usually describe these as as a normal object. So, for example,
it's not the literal meaning of the phrase, for example.
Exactly,
It can be a metaphor, it can be a
Simile,
simile,
yes.
and it can be an idiom.
Yes.
All right, it can be hyperbole, it can be exaggeration. Or why would an author use figurative language?
well,
Because normally to make it easier for the audience to understand her point.
Yes.
So it's a literary device. Yeah. So the question again, Kingsolver uses figurative language. What's a language? Language not meant to be taken literally. So we don't take the literal meaning of this. To describe inanimate objects like the rain, because a rain is a non-living thing, okay, as having human characteristics, yeah. All right. Find example of this kind of figurative language personification. Actually, to be more specific, we're looking for personification here in the above paragraph. So, if we look at lines, which lines are we talking about? So I think line 59.
yeah, flowers.
Yeah, 59 here. When we say that flowers are described as being persistent.
Yeah, and persistent is more of like a human trait.
Yeah. And who would be persistent? A person who is resilient, who insists on doing something despite all the hardships and difficulties, hell or high water, as you said. All right. So this is one example. Another example is maybe in line 63 and 64.
Yeah, so she says that she refers to the rains as being male or female in line 63 and 64.
Yeah,
So,
so we call the female rains and also male rains. All right. So a third example is male rowdy or rowdyla in line 64. Rowdy rain. All right. So this is also personification. But to add to our point about figurative language, we can also consider this phrase here, hell or high water, as because it's an idiom, and the idiom is one of the devices that an author uses figuratively. All right. So this is another example of figurative language. So we have personification, we have idioms, and these could be the answer to the question. But the question asks actually about personification mainly.
I think there was personification also in parched, because parched is a term meaning dry, but usually I always hear it for people saying they're parched when they're thirsty.
Yeah.
But she's describing the land as being parched.
Yeah.
So the land is thirsty.
It depends on how people use it, because as I told you, this is a very casual style of writing, maybe. Very good. Okay, so let's move on to question 2. So let's add the number of the lines, Anthony.
Yeah, so line 59.
59. Yeah, 59. So the next example, rains are male and female. This is in line 63 and 64. 64, and also male rains are rowdy in line 64. 64. Interesting. So let's move on to question 2. So,
how does this language affect how the reader perceives this information?
So, as we said before, it helps the reader relate to the idea. All right. So because normally when we talk about a female animal, we talk about fertility, we talk about breeding, we talk about reproduction. You see what I mean? So normally female are connected with this idea of bringing children.
Yes.
Yeah. So it can help us relate to the idea. It makes the natural words seem more alive.
Yeah, because she's describing these female rains that are causing these seeds to reproduce, become flowers.
Yeah, that's right. So, question 3.
What does benefaction mean?
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yeah.
So, benefaction means actually a gift or assistance in this context, of course. So, question 4.
What does the author describe as benefaction?
So I think we're going to have to go back to the word benefaction here. The benefaction trails steadily from winter on into spring.
So I think
this
she's talking
benefaction
about
steadily
has to be the
trails steadily from winter on to. So which gift are we talking about?
It would have to be rain.
Yeah, very good. Which rain?
1998 rains.
Yeah, that's because it was a gift for the people in the desert there, and they, of course, everybody must have been happy with it. Okay, long soaking rainfall of the 1998, of course. So, question 6.
In the above excerpt, what is the aim behind the flowering of some species?
Yeah.
So the aim.
Yeah. Based on the above paragraph here. What's the aim of flowering?
The aim of the flowering would be to...
Yeah, if we look at this line here.
Persist.
Because here we have the word object, which means aim. Right?
Yes.
So the object of the game is persistence through
hell or high water.
Very good. So it's all about survival.
Yes.
It's all about survival. Yeah. Okay, so let's see the answer here. Let's say to produce
Seeds.
seed and survive,
And
so that
survive,
they
yeah.
can, because when once plants produce seeds, that means this guarantees its survival, because that means it's gonna come up again later on. Okay,
Yes.
of course, when the time is due, yeah, when the time is right for them to grow again. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys for listening. So the answers or the questions will be posted onto the school website, and you will have some chances to submit them with some of your opinions. But thank you for listening today, and tomorrow we'll be
We'll be
discussing these
we'll
questions.
We'll be reviewing this part quickly, and then we're going to discuss this part tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you for listening, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks,
I hope
guys.
you benefit from this class. Have a very good day. Thank you.